Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. Today, as Russian forces advance upon the Ukrainian capital, one man, the leader of Ukraine, has stood firm against Vladimir Putin and led the way for the world to take action. Dealing with Russian aggression and soaring inflation, President Biden gives his first State of the Union speech tonight. We'll show you the one statistic that indicates major political trouble for the president and the Democrats. Plus, parents are outraged after finding sexually explicit material in public school libraries.
I think it's been hidden from a lot of parents. Shutdowns allowed parents to actually see and hear some of the content that was being discussed in classroom.
Then later, we share the incredible story of Kevin Chandler, who set out on an adventure inside of a backpack.
Because of the backpack, I could have these crazy, amazing experiences with other people.
Plus, we'll tell you about an upcoming film based on the inspiring true story of the spiritual awakening in Southern California in the 70s. All these stories and more are coming up next in the CBN Newsroom.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin with the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, who is not only standing his ground against the Russian invasion of his country, he has also marshaled global support for his country in a matter of days, helping to build an international backlash against Vladimir Putin and Russia. All of that as Russian troops are now advancing on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. Senior national affairs correspondent Heather Sells reports.
Russian forces have now fired close to 400 missiles into Ukraine, attacking schools, hospitals, and homes. Satellite images show an estimated 40-mile Russian convoy closing in on Kyiv. As for Russian President Vladimir Putin's warning that he has put his nuclear deterrent forces on high alert, President Biden dismissed it Monday, telling a reporter that Americans should not worry.
We've seen Mr. Putin's announcement. We believe it's as unnecessary as it is escalatory.
In the face of Putin's aggression, the president of Ukraine has rallied his country and the world. CBN's George Thomas is on the ground in Lviv.
By invading Ukraine, Putin was hoping to not only conquer the entire country, but also divide Ukrainians. Well, the exact opposite has happened. Not only is the nation more united than ever before, but so many see this as a David versus Goliath story. And today, Ukraine's President Zelensky, in their eyes, is clearly the David.
He's much more braver than Goliath. He is much stronger. He is much more confident.
I'm so happy to be Ukrainian. I'm so honored to be Ukrainian. I'm so happy that I have this president.
Zelensky is perhaps the most unlikely Ukrainian president. His background, a former actor. He was the voice of Paddington Bear in Ukraine and played Ukraine's president in a TV comedy before getting the job in real life. In the past week, his bold and sometimes defiant leadership has given Ukraine the resolve it urgently needed. Zelensky acknowledged what intelligence shows, that he's Russia's #1 target, and his family is #2. His family members have gone into hiding. When rumors surfaced that he was fleeing the capital, however, he pushed back with a video of him and his leaders in the street, saying, "We're still here." And when the Biden administration offered an evacuation, he said, "I need ammunition, not a ride."
The Ukrainians are fighting back hard, and there's incredible, great leadership by Zelensky. His comment this morning, "I don't need a ride, I need ammunition." That's great, and it shows his tremendous leadership, and it's inspiring the Ukrainian nation.
Across social media, photos of Zelensky with his troops have gone viral. And his emotional teleconference plea to European leaders, telling them it might be the last time they saw him alive, accelerated aid to Ukraine and sanctions on Russia.
He told us he doesn't know if he will be able to take and to speak with us another time. So it's tough. We have to know how serious the situation is in Ukraine.
Almost 28 NATO countries have increased sanctions against Putin and Russian banks. Even Switzerland, known for its neutrality, has joined in, barring Putin from Swiss banks. The pushback has sent the Russian economy into a tailspin, And on top of the financial war, military analysts say Russia's in trouble on the ground.
This is going terribly for Vladimir Putin and his forces. They designed a flawed concept.
Fuel shortages have slowed the troops, along with the fighting skill of the Ukrainian people.
The Ukrainian will is so incredible to see what they are doing, to see their president. You know, he was a comedian who played the president on TV. And this is the role of a lifetime. He should get an Academy Award and many other awards for what it is that he's doing this. He's a natural.
Zelensky's latest move, filing a genocide case against Russia. He's asking the UN to stop the Russian invasion and order the Kremlin to pay reparations. Zelensky's no longer acting, and what he's doing at home and abroad could save his country while crushing Putin's ambition for now. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Our senior international correspondent George Thomas is with us now from the streets of the city of Lviv in Ukraine. George, Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, was hit by a Russian missile today. You've been to that exact spot where the missile struck. What is today's attack signal?
Yeah, I was there several years ago, in fact, a number of times since the 2014 invasion of the Eastern Park. What this sends is a very clear signal that Russia has no problem going after civilian targets. And this was right the main city center, the equivalent of City Hall. So it's sending a clear message. In fact, just before we came on the air, I got a call, my producer got a call from a family trapped in Kharkiv. She was wailing. She's got 3 kids and she's struggling to figure out how to get out of the city. So this today, what's happened today in Kharkiv and other parts of eastern Ukraine has definitely escalated and taken the situation here on the ground to another level.
And the Russians are also pounding Kherson and Donetsk. Talk about the significance of these attacks.
Yeah, guys, take a look at this map. If you look at the map of Ukraine, you see Crimea to the south, you see Kherson, then you see Zaporizhia, and then you see Donetsk. And in essence, what's happening is that today they've been targeted, they've been pummeling Kherson as well as the Donetsk region around the Mariupol. And the whole idea there is to create a land bridge from the east all the way to Crimea. You have to realize that Crimea is a major port, naval port for the Russians. And for 8 years, they've had no access, no land access to Crimea. What they're doing today is pummeling Kherson and as well as Mariupol and Donetsk with the idea of trying to create this land bridge from the eastern part of the country all the way to Crimea.
We're at the library this morning, George. What did you see there?
Yeah, let me just tell you right now, let me just show you right now what's going on. Right here, if you can see, I'm going to give you a little tour. You have dozens and dozens of men and women who are basically taking strips of fabric and rolling it and weaving it into this mesh. And in essence, they're going to be taking this all the way to the front lines. What you have here is dozens and dozens of women, men who are in essence sewing this to the very fabric of the camouflage net. And with each of these pieces of fabric, they are sending their prayers, their love, their unity, and a symbol of what is going on today. You know, Vladimir Putin may have tried to conquer and divide Ukrainians, but the truth of the matter is that this nation is united like never before, and we're seeing it today in the display. Just a small token of what these people are trying to do. It's their way of saying, we stand united, we stand with our forces.
And the UN, George, estimates some 500,000 people have fled. Where are they heading to? And what is the future? What's the future that awaits them?
Yeah, basically about, like you said, 500,000, probably more by now. Tens of thousands of them have been coming to Lviv, the largest city in the west, and then they're desperately trying to cross the border into Poland. It's been a nightmare because it can take, what's normally an hour-long trip from Lviv to the Polish border. Normally takes about an hour. Now it's taking 37, 38, 40, 45 hours. People sitting with no gas, standing in line, parked in their cars. Sometimes they have to walk because the line is so huge. The same situation on the Slovenia border, the Hungary border. And so it's it's just unbelievable.
Wow. Well, stay safe, sir. That's a powerful image behind you, very much so. Keep up the great work. And again, thank you for reporting on this important story for us. Thank you, George. George Thomas in Ukraine. Thanks again. Well, here at home, President Biden is set to give his first State of the Union speech, and he'll be emphasizing his actions dealing with the war in Ukraine.
And he will talk about the steps he's taking to mitigate the impact of President Putin's invasion of Ukraine on the global economy and the American people.
He'll also focus on the economy, where Americans have been hit hard by soaring inflation at the grocery store, the gas pump, and elsewhere. The speech comes as the president's poll numbers keep dropping. He's now at just 37% approval in the latest ABC News Washington Post poll. The president also has only a 37% approval on his handling of the economy. Only 17% believe they're better off now than when Biden took office. 35% say they're worse off, and that indicates political trouble for the president and the party in power. You can watch CBN's live coverage of the State of the Union with coverage and analysis by our team in Washington. Just tune into the CBN News Channel at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, or you can download the CBN News app or watch it on the, download the CBN Family app. You can watch it there as well. In other news, sexually explicit material is showing up in public school libraries, causing outrage with parents.
Any idea of sexual boundaries, any sort of idea of sexual right and wrong, morality, they want those knocked down.
Coming up, we take a closer look at the controversy and what parents are doing to fight against this issue.
Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living Tuesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
Books containing sexually explicit material are available to children as young as kindergartners in some public school libraries. Parents are up in arms, challenging educators at school board meetings across the country. CBN's Tara Mergener reports on what's in these books and the controversies surrounding them.
Parents first started packing school board meetings hoping to reopen schools. Now the focus is on what they call explicit books. Child experts are also weighing in, saying graphic images and mature subject matter harms young minds.
Imagine your 11-year-old child or grandchild reading this.
A familiar school board scene playing out across the country.
So not only do you have to be talented, long-lasting, multiple, but you have to be okay, a sexy 18-year-old.
An uncomfortable crowd cringing.
Do you think you have to? People,
wait, this
people
is in our schools. Our kids are reading this, and you're going to tell me I can't read it to you because it's inappropriate?
It's being broadcast.
Everybody.
As steamy excerpts are read aloud from books now available in public schools.
Teenage girl getting raped. And this is available for 11-year-olds.
Parents accusing educators of exposing their children to X-rated material.
Protect our children or get out of the way.
I think it's been hidden from a lot of parents. The shutdowns allowed parents to actually see and hear some of the content that was being discussed in classrooms.
That content includes books like Gender Queer, recipient of an American Library Award.
It's a story about my own life, about coming out as queer and non-binary and asexual.
The story contains graphic text and illustrations depicting men having intercourse, children engaged in sexual acts, and the sexual fantasies of the then 14-year-old author.
They want to normalize the abnormal, right? Any idea of sexual boundaries, any sort of idea of sexual right and wrong, morality, they want those knocked down.
Now that this and other examples are being found in more school libraries, outcry is growing louder among parents.
I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand how we have better criteria to select these books.
And politicians vowing to prosecute Texas and South Carolina's Republican governors, demanding investigations into how books like Gender Queer got into school libraries. Virginia's new governor is using executive orders to give parents more power to reclaim control over what their children are taught. There are numerous efforts underway to recall school board members across the country. Some parents even running for political office, like Brandon Michon.
Brandon Michon had the guts to fight for his kids.
Known for his viral rant against school shutdowns. Figure it out! And stunned when his kindergartner brought home a book on transgenderism.
Kindergartner is just trying to learn. Adult decisions and adult viewpoints and agendas are pushed down at a young age. That's not right.
All we're trying to do is allow parents to say it's okay for my children to see this.
Resistance is also rising to removing these books. Last month, Virginia Senate Democrats unanimously blocked a bill that would have forced schools to warn parents about sexual content.
It's a serious infringement on First Amendment rights.
Library groups are also speaking out.
We firmly believe in the right of individuals, including young people, to make choices about what they read, and we trust the choices of the school librarians and what they add to their collection.
Members of the LGBTQ community argue it's about social justice and inclusion.
And they can personalize it, how important this book is to them, why it matters.
Still, many experts insist what matters most is the children, warning this content for young audiences can have serious consequences.
It's literally a disaster for developing brains. When they watch something that is so explicit and so stimulating, it actually begins to wear out the pleasure centers in their brain. And it leaves them more vulnerable to addiction and depression.
Among other concerns, the children who view abusive and misogynistic acts will see them as normal and acceptable.
And it begins to shape their experience and perception of what it means to be in relationship with someone else. And then it opens up experiences with things that maybe they would have never been exposed to in such an explicit way at an early age, and it begins to shape their behavior towards other people.
It's clear sexual and gender ideology is quickly becoming another flashpoint in education wars, with children caught in the crossfire.
As the debate plays out, parents are encouraged to foster healthy relationships with their children, talk to them about sexuality early in an age-appropriate way, and let them know it's okay to ask questions. In Loudoun County, Virginia, I'm Tara Merchiner, CBN News.
Still ahead, we'll share the story of Kevin Chandler's faith-filled, incredible adventure despite having spinal muscular atrophy.
Christians around the world are standing with the Israelis. But why? In CBN's free magazine, Friends of Israel, you'll discover why Christians are supporting the Jewish state, how Israel is fulfilling prophecy as a light to the nations, and ways you can pray for the people of Israel. Israel needs the support of friends like you. Call now or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Friends of Israel.
Heavenly Father, we do thank you for the work of your Spirit, Lord God, with this movement of getting the Bible,
yes,
Lord, into public schools.
Watch The Prayer Link. Tuesday morning at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Kevin Chandler and his 6 friends set out on an incredible journey, dancing in the streets of Paris, hiking through the English countryside, and scaling the island of Skellig Michael. The trip was a big risk for Kevin, who has spinal muscular atrophy and was wheelchair bound. Chandler and his friend Luke Thomas told the Prayer Link that one step of faith turned into an adventure beyond their wildest dreams.
Prior to this trip, you had been in a wheelchair 25 years. Can you describe what you were feeling when you left that wheelchair behind to go on this trip?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I've been asked before, like, what was it like in that moment of leaving your wheelchair behind? But we were in a rush to get to the airport and on the airplane. And so in the moment, it just kind of happened. And I had used the backpack before, so it felt like any other time of getting out of my chair and getting into the backpack. But it was about a week later on the trip when I wanted some time to myself. I wanted a moment to wander off and do my own thing, and realized I couldn't because I didn't have my wheelchair. And I really was faced with this moment of, well, my wheelchair gives me freedom in some ways, and having this backpack gives me a freedom and an experience in another way. And one isn't better than the other, but they, each one enriches life in its own way. And because of the backpack, I could have these crazy, amazing experiences with other people.
Exactly. Well, Luke, you weren't able to carry Kevin on your back due to a skateboarding injury, but you did document the experience with your camera. And in the book, you say this was a trip full of just unforgettable experiences. How did it change you?
Wow. Well, I had no exposure to the disability community before this, really. I knew Kevin, but I hadn't spent a whole lot of time with him. So this was really eye-opening to, what people can do when they come together to kind of fill in the gaps in some of the abilities of those that you're around.
And Kevin, back to you. Would you say that this was more of a faith journey or a physical journey, or perhaps both?
Oh, I would say it was definitely a mix of both. Because we faced a lot of difficult things physically, but around every corner there were also challenges spiritually and emotionally and relationally, as well. And got to have a lot of very real conversations with the Lord along the way.
What a great story. You can catch Prayer Link on the CBN News Channel tonight at 6:30 Eastern or on the CBN News app. Coming up, there's a new film in development based on the true story of the spiritual awakening in Southern California in the 1970s. We'll have more right after the break.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
Download the CBN News app. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Get the CBN News app today.
There's a new film in the works based on a true story of the national spiritual awakening in Southern California during the 1970s. The film is called Jesus Revolution and revolves around Pastor Greg Laurie, who sets out to redefine truth and ends up meeting a hippie street preacher named Lonnie Frisbee. They both connect with Pastor Chuck Smith, who opens up his church to other hippies and seekers. A great spiritual revival occurs at the church, leading to the Jesus Revolution. The film stars actor Kelsey Grammer and The Chosen's Jonathan Rumi, just to name a few, and filming begins this month. Might be something to check out there. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel anytime or online with cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen by emailing newswatch@cbn.com, or you can talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.